Greetings, class. Let's look at Arduinos, what they are, how you use them, and what you will need to know in lab later this week. So first of all, let's try to think about what it is that Arduinos do and how does that work for us. Okay, so here is a very simple block diagram of an Arduino. And the Arduino reads some inputs. In this case, the inputs are a light sensor and a switch. Those feed into the Arduino. The Arduino executes its program, or it's called a sketch. It's basically just a list of instructions. It follows the list of instructions that you've given it, and it can turn on a headlamp. So in this case, we have a couple of inputs, sensors that it can read, and one output. Okay, so we need to figure out how the Arduino can look at inputs and outputs. Here's a picture of the board. What's important that's on here? Well, number one is the USB connector. We have to attach that so that it has power and so that it can get instructions. Let's see, what else? You've all used the plus 5 volts and the ground pins, which are right down here, number 4 and number 3. I would also like to point out number 11. There's an LED right here, number 11, which indicates that your board has power. Now, all of the pins right in here, which are labeled 0 through 13, those can be set up to act as inputs or outputs. So in our previous example, we would have to have our inputs attached to a couple of pins, and our headlamp would be attached to a different pin. For the lab we're going to do in lab this week, we're going to use output pin 13. So we'll have to make 13 be an output. The advantage of using pin 13 is that pin 13 is also attached to this little LED right here. So if 13 is high, this LED will be high. If 13 is low, this LED will be off. The other thing I want to point out is the TX and the RX LEDs, which are labeled here as 12. TX stands for transmit, RX stands for receive. So when you're successfully communicating with your Arduino, with your computer, you'll see these lights flicker as we're sending instructions or receiving instructions across the USB cable. So let's keep those two guys in mind. Our next problem will be how to communicate to this little board from your computer. It's across the USB cable. And what you have to do is start up this program. This is your Arduino IDE. And let's see, here we go. So when you start up your IDE, I'm not sure what IDE stands for, but it's your Arduino interface program. It will open up a very simple little program outline. Let's not worry too much about that now. This is going to be the list of instructions that you're going to upload to the Arduino, and the Arduino will run. There's nothing in here yet. To make it easy for you, we have actually given you the programs that you need to run. So what do those look like? If you go to your lab manual in your Blackboard site, go to the lab manual. There's a set of Arduino sketch files. We're doing lab 2B and 2C this week. When you hit that and download it, it will download a Word document. I'm going to start up Word. Okay, so here is the sketches. Now, for 2B, you want to run a program called Blink. So everything that's in Blink 1 here, basically from here down to here. That is the sketch. That is the list of instructions you want to load. So you can highlight them and copy them, and then go back to your IDE, and you want to get rid of everything that's already in there. I'm going to hit delete button. Bingo, they're gone. All right, now I'm going to put in everything that I just cut and pasted from. All right, so there's my program. So I expect you to do this too, and then you're going to modify this a little bit. We now have a program in place. I want to know if that program's going to work. I'm going to click this little verify button, which is basically a compile button, and I'm going to want to watch this bottom bar right down here. So if this bottom bar stays blue, that's a successful check. If it turns orange, that means there's something wrong with the program. So I'm going to click on the verify button now. It says, oh, we have to save it. You have to give it a name. It'll suggest a name, but I suggest you call it blank 1 and then put your initials or your name or something you can remember. And we save it. Now it's compiling. There's a little status bar here. It's done compiling. Everything was good. That's what we want. Let me show you what this would look like. I'm going to put a bad command in here, right here where it says pin mode. I'm going to misspell it. If I made it pin mode, not really a word anymore. Now when I try to run it, see how it turned orange down here? Okay, so that tells you there was an error. We know there was an error because I typed something bad in here. All right, so let's go back to pin mode. Make it good again. I'll check it. All right, it's done compiling. Everything is good. Now, I need to make sure that I can talk to my Arduino. So what I'm going to do is, well, you guys can't see it. Let me see if I can expand the screen here a bit. Hang on a second. Okay, right up at the top here, there's a tab called Tools. If I highlight Tools, one of the options here is Get Board Info. If I can get my board info, I know that I'm now talking to my Arduino. I click on it, and you notice that absolutely nothing happened. So when nothing happens, that tells me it's not communicating with the Arduino. The most likely thing is it's at the wrong port. So go down here to the port button, and you will see there are several ports. You can hook it up to port. Well, there are multiple ones. I'm on a Mac, so I'm looking for the one that says USB Arduino. So if I click on that guy, now when I get board info, ta-da, okay, this little pop-up window is there. That tells me it is now communicating. On the Windows machines, when you go to port, they are just numbers, and it's not obvious which one is your Arduino. If it's not talking to here, go in here and just try a different number until you find the one that communicates with your Arduino. But when you click on board info, some info should pop up. Okay, so now we have a sketch that works. It's verified. This little button right here will upload it to the Arduino. So we hit that button and it's uploading. It says it's done uploading. Let me show you what that looks like. Okay, here is a video of the Arduino when I'm doing this. You'll want to pay attention to the transmit and the receive, and notice that the little on light is on. We have some green thing. So we know if it's communicating, if the transmit and receive will flicker. So let's hit run and see if they flicker and show us. This will show us what's going on. Nothing's happening. See those guys flicker? And now pin 13 is blinking on and off, which is what we want to have happen. So this is good. All right, so that's a basic summary of what you do. You download a program in here, you make sure you're communicating, then you upload it and run it. And that's all there is to it. Good luck and have fun.